tired of living through unprecedented times, like all millennials. I have my squish ducky with me because I need to hold something, and I know I'm going to crush my little mic because yeah. So I'm going to talk about a specific topic today. That doesn't mean that I don't care about what's going on. Honestly, like, if you have threads, you can go to my threads under the same handle, Karasai04, because it's all the same across media platforms. And you can see how very vocal I am about a lot of the current events and political climate and all that stuff. You don't have to follow. I really don't give a fuck about that. But it just, like, if you want to see example of stuff, because I don't always talk about that stuff across all media platforms. I'm mostly on threads. My Instagram and my Facebook are still private. They're going to stay private. I do have a Blue Sky, but I hardly ever post on there. So honestly, it's just a bunch of people that, either follow me from threads or, whatever. I don't really care. I don't care about followers though. So I'm not like asking you to go follow me or anything. It's just that if you want to see an example of the stuff that I care about, that's where you'd see it. But today I want to talk about what it feels like when you're dealing with the fallout from, surviving like abuse, trauma, mental health crisis, stuff like that. Now, I am going to talk about a person online that I have spoken to recently about some of this stuff. I'm not going to give their name. I'm not going to talk about, any of their personal stuff, whatever they have felt comfortable sharing. I always thank a person for sharing something because it's hard. It is really hard to share and talk about stuff that you've been through. Even though I have felt like, okay, I feel brave enough to actually do this, a lot of times I'm still nervous and scared, and I'm just like, I just put that out there in the world. Did I really put that out in the world? I put that out in the world. Okay. Here I go. So it's a lot. It's a lot. It takes a lot of courage. So I do always thank the person, if they share something and I happen to comment or see it. But I'm not going to say anything that this person, even if I'm not telling their name, I'm not going to discuss any of their personal stuff. Just that they are on a healing journey right now. And it's difficult. It really is for them. And that's what a lot of survivors go through. It's a difficult process. Even if you have been going through the process 20 or more years, it's still difficult. Because that's the thing is, when you're a survivor, you get to deal with the fallout. You get to deal with living with this for the rest of your life. So it's not something that can just be cured or fixed. And you can have a lot of great, wonderful days, and then there will just be this really bad day. And that's going to happen. It's going to happen. As prepared as you can become over time, it's going to happen. I'm not ever going to lie to anyone. I'm not ever going to be like, oh, just do this. And no, that's complete bullshit. Don't buy into that. Don't actually buy stuff either. If someone's like trying to sell, like, this is the cure to your depression and blah, blah. No, that's complete bullshit. Don't do that. But anyway, there are some things that I'd said to this person, and I realized that I'm not even following my own words. I had a little bit of introspection, and it's actually, now that I've let go of some of the things that I've been holding on to, I feel a lot more free. I feel a lot better about myself, and I think that there are some people out there who are afraid to let go of things, that are afraid that if they do, what are they without those things, right? And so that's what I wanted to kind of talk about today. One of the things that this person talked about is feeling like they're too much or they're a burden to their significant other. And I mean, many people, not just myself, have kind of gathered around this person to be, you know, protective and loving. And I'm not gonna lie, I've been on the toxic side of like fandoms and gatherings and groups online. So for me, it was a moment where I was very happy to see others that were like this, because I'm a very protective person. I do host a lot of, I say host, but really I post a lot about like block parties. And that's kind of to bring awareness and warn others who may be dealing with trauma, may be dealing with anything that might trigger something, their anxiety, their depression, something. Their you know, their PTSD. I have complex PTSD. I've got depression, anxiety. I've gone through panic attacks many times. There's so many things that could trigger me. I've got quite a few phobias too, claustrophobia being one of them. Not afraid of heights. I love heights themselves, but I have that fear of actually falling, like unaided falling or being pushed. So I never turn my back on anyone if I'm like high up anywhere. That's because that actually happened to me, so that's where that fear started. But anyway, so I definitely do post a lot that, like, hey, report and block. Hey, if you know, like, these people are posting these kinds of things and these could trigger someone, you know, please go and block them for your own, you know, mental health or whatever. Or like, hey, this is something that I felt was necessary to report and block. You can do what you want with this, but I'm just letting you know. So I do that often. It's not just myself. Tons of other people do it, especially on Threads. But I was really happy to see other people kind of step up and you know, want to protect this person who had been bullied and targeted, unfortunately, within a certain fandom space. And it's not like I think I'm the only person who does this kind of stuff. Obviously, I'm not. I'm not like some grand hero or monolith of, you know, like, I am this great. No, it's just, it was nice to see other people band together to protect this person and to support this person. And they are finally in a position where they have a private account, so I'm really glad. And I and myself and others continue to check in on this person because we want to, like, we actually care. But you know, they're going through some rough times where they feel like they're too much, or they're burdened, or no one's going to want to be with them, or they might be abandoned one day. And like, I'm not going to talk about their specific their specific kind of trauma and stuff, whatever they have shared online, because that's not my story to tell. I do thank people when they share that stuff, because again, it's like, it takes a lot of courage, right? But just that they, you know, they have those feelings, and it's scary. It's scary to have those feelings. And I have been there. I've been there many times, unfortunately. Even recently, having those feelings of like, am I too much? Have I done enough? Especially as a single parent, it's really hard. Like, I'm always wondering, have I done right by my children? Am I teaching them properly when it comes to critical thinking and compassion and kindness and what's happening in the real world? It's a lot. And there's that fear of, have I prepared them enough for things that are going to be going on for generations that I one day won't be here for, you know? So it's scary. It's scary. But there was a recent post of theirs, this person, and they were, you know, concerned about their significant other thinking that they're a burden, or they're too much, or, you know, that, you know, they couldn't handle them or something. And granted, I should have thought a bit more before saying this, just because what if I had said something wrong? But I went back and looked at my comment like, oh, okay. Because I mentioned, like, the thing is, it's not up to us what another person can weather in life. We don't get to decide how someone feels about us. And I meant what I said, because every indication of that person's significant other has shown that on their worst days, they are there with them. And it's only the outside world that stresses them out. That they're just scared of losing this person. But their significant other has been with them through it all. And they love them dearly. And they're showing that. And there are other people who echoed my sentiment. But it reminded me of a post I had recently where I have been working very hard in life to get to a point where I don't believe I have to have someone in my life romantically to be happy. And for the most part, I've achieved that. For the most part, I'm enjoying being single because I can actually be myself. I don't have to present a certain way to someone. I don't have to pretend. I can just literally be me and be like, this is me. I know that you see these videos, you may think like this is just one part of me, which it's true, yes, but I am mostly the same in real life. It's not just like these videos, like me being chaotic and all over the place and goofy or weird or whatever. Like, this is just me. This is me. I don't see a point in masking myself anymore, pretending. There are certain parts of myself that definitely I have to be, I have to put on a presentation, but it's more for like the customer service side, like for my job. Like, there are so many things that I really want to say and I can't. And it irritates me every day because I'm like, oh, the things that I want to say to some of these people. But I don't. But either way, just putting that out there. But there are some parts of me that I was very open and vulnerable about when it came to finally getting to a point where I'm like, okay, I may not love myself every day. That's kind of impossible, unfortunately. But I do love myself far more than I ever have throughout my entire life up to this point. I'm fortunate that I made it to year 39. And I hope I'm privileged enough to make it past, knock on wood, for many, many more decades. I hope that. I think that is a privilege and something that not many people get to say. So I do hope that. But there are aspects of myself that I didn't think I would be afraid of. And one of those fears had been, I'm finally to this comfortable position where I can love myself, even if not all the time, but most of the time. I like certain parts of myself, and the parts that I don't like, I am doing my best to change because I think that I can do better. I always think I can do better. I always think there is always a better version of myself that can be achieved. If I misstep, then, it's on me to do better. A lot of the times, oddly enough, I'm not really called out that much. I do find that odd. Just side note. A lot of times I'm calling myself out whenever I misstep or do something. No one's obligated to call me out. No one's obligated to educate me on anything. I'm just stating as fact, like, oddly enough, there are some things that, like, I could have been called out on, but I wasn't. So I called myself out on it because I'm like, it's the right thing to do. Like, I didn't do something properly, or this is something and it's wrong, so I need to do better. But yeah, anyway, one of the fears had been someone actually loving me, someone actually taking all of myself and accepting my kids and loving them. Because I guess there was a part of me that couldn't accept or believe the possibility of someone actually seeing all of me, seeing my kids and loving us in our entirety. Because there's just so much. There's a lot of heavy history here. And this person's going to have to deal with the fact that I'm going to have bad days, that I have complex PTSD, which means I have multiple traumas, and it has happened continuously over the course of my life. Childhood, as a teenager, as a young adult, as an adult, like, it has been part of my life. It is part of who I am. And there's going to be times when I do not want to be touched. I do not want anyone to look at me or talk to me. There's going to be times when my introversion definitely is on full force. And although, yes, I can be very social, there are going to be days when I don't want to be social at all, where I'm like, nope, because I will have to recharge after this. And I don't even want to go to this thing. I don't even want to do this thing because I don't want to have to recharge. I just want to simply exist and not have to deal with any of that, So it's like, there's going to be days like that. There's going to be times when I just like, nope, unsubscribe, stop this. I don't like it. And there was this fear of someone actually being okay with that, because I'm so used to people trying to change me at every turn. I'm so used to my mask slipping and a piece of me showing where I'm not perfect. I'm not the perfect girlfriend, not the perfect wife, not the perfect anything. And I'm so used to people seeing that and thinking, oh, it's okay, I accept that. But now you have to completely change that because I don't ever want to see it again. I'm so used to people not actually loving me, not actually caring about me, and getting angry with me when I show my true self. Showing that they never actually loved me. Like, they pretended this entire time. I am so used to toxicity and abuse. I'm so used to very few people in my life actually caring about me as a person and caring about my thoughts, my wants, all that. I'm not used to a person putting me first. I've always been the protector. I've always been the head of household. I've always been the person looking out for others. I've always been the one constantly vigilant and on alert for everything. I've always been the mom of every group, even before I became a mom. I've always been the one protecting and helping others, the one to look out, the one to rescue and assist. I am not used to that actually happening to me. So there is a legit fear of that actually happening. And people might be like, why would you be afraid of that? I don't know how to describe it, okay? But it is a genuine fear of actually being loved, of actually being perceived as I am and accepting that, like actually accepting that. And me telling that other person that, hey, thing is, we don't get to decide what other people can weather in life. We don't get to decide how they perceive us, how they care about us. We can't control other people. We can only control ourselves. And saying that to another person and fully meaning it and fully like believing in it towards another. But it's like, why couldn't I tell myself that? Why, I don't know. So I sat with that. I was staring at that comment that I made to another person who's going through a lot, who has a significant other that loves them dearly, and a community that has banded around them to protect them and be supportive, good and bad days. And I sat with that comment. And I literally just took a deep breath and let it out and be like, okay, I don't get to decide if someone actually falls in love with me one day. I don't get to decide if someone sees who I really am and actually wants that in their life. I don't get to decide how someone else feels about me. Will I let a person in one day? I don't know about that part. I really am actually kind of enjoying the whole single life, and it's just being myself without having to worry or stress about someone else's, everything other than like my kids, of course, but like I'm talking about like a romantic partner. But it was just that in that moment I said those words to this person. I fully meant them. And I just realized, like, how is it that I can say this to another person, but I can't say it to myself? So when I sat with that, I just, like, let it go. I'm not going to sing the song, by the way. You're not going to get that from me. But yeah, it was weird. It was a weird moment for me because I didn't really like feel triumphant or like aha kind of thing. Like it wasn't one of those like light bulb like aha or oh I feel rejuvenated or whatever. It was just kind of like a this happened. And this is how I feel about it now. So yeah. It wasn't like a monumental thing. It was just like this occurred and my position on this shifted. So there I am. It's something that's beyond my control. There's not much I can do about how another person sees me, how they will interact with me. I can focus on myself, how I treat that other person. Should another person like that come into my life. But there's nothing I can do about how someone else feels about me. There's just not. So having that fear just seems sort of pointless in my eyes, for me personally. I'm not telling anyone else to feel the same way. I'm not telling anyone else that your fears are not valid. Like, your feelings are valid, okay? I'm just talking about myself specifically for this exact thing. And then there was another aspect that I realized. There are so many times when I feel the need to be strong, feel the need to be, more than I am. Because there are a lot of vulnerable parts to me. There are a lot of moments that I just, as I said, like I've always had to be the strong one. I haven't been able to like let loose and enjoy the moment because I am always on alert. I am always vigilant. I'm always stressed. I gotta look out for my kids too. I don't know what it feels like to actually be able to be vulnerable. Like just on my own. I can discuss vulnerabilities. I can discuss emotions and be open about that. And I've come a long way over the years from these videos where I can actually confidently talk about them without being too scared. But by myself, when there's no one looking, it's hard to let go. It is hard to actually let myself break down. There's a lot of fear in relapsing for the things that I have really worked hard on to overcome. And I'm not talking about like harmful things or harming myself. I haven't had those kinds of thoughts in many years. But I mean that there was another post today by that person where they're talking about, feeling like, like what did I do to deserve this kind of stuff, like the way they've been treated in the past. And I was very open and honest about this. And I've said this to other people too, as I've worked on myself and my journey over the years, but you didn't deserve the things that happened to you. Let's start there. And that's what I told this person. It's like, you didn't deserve that, what happened to you. That's the first thing. You didn't deserve that. You are owed a safe space for the good and the bad, the happy and the sad days. And I told them too that it may not feel like a safe space some days, but you are allowed. You are allowed this. You are allowed these moments. Your feelings and emotions with this are valid, even if it doesn't feel like it. And then sometimes I forget that. I forget that I am allowed this. I am allowed this breakdown. I cannot be strong all the time. I cannot have a front all the time. most of me is authentically who I am, especially now as I've done this kind of evolution in all these videos over the years. If you look at my very first video compared to this video, I am a lot more put together and confident than I used to be. I'm a lot more sure of myself. I know myself a bit better, and I have made a lot of changes in how I do things and how I see things. And I've had to unlearn some bad things, and I've had to relearn things that I, knew before, but maybe have forgotten, or just something happened to that stuff, or I'm learning things for the first time. It's a process, and it's never ending. But I'm choosing this. I'm choosing this process. I'm choosing to continue to live and continue to work on myself. So I mean, I'm choosing this. So there's definitely me being me and me being upfront about it. But there's a part of me that hasn't let myself break down as much, hasn't let myself just sob uncontrollably. I mean, like, I'll cry during certain videos or songs or whatever. And I did have a video that I talked about where, so there are some times when I will listen to sad songs on purpose to get myself to cry, to kind of get those emotions out. But there are many times when it's not even like having emotions attached to a certain thing. It's simply not wanting to be strong all the time, not wanting to have a mask up. Even if that mask is authentically myself, it's not all of me. Because there are the darker thoughts, there are the memories that will never be erased, unfortunately. There are the parts of my life that I will never remember no matter what I do, because it was that traumatic. There are parts of my childhood that I don't recall and never will. There are the insecurities when it comes to being a parent. Wondering if I'm doing enough. It's a lot. And yes, like, I'm tearing up a little bit talking about this right now, but having a full breakdown, just being able to tell myself that I'm not comfortable, I do not like this, I do not like myself, I'm just really angry right now. Just having these emotions, these raw emotions. I feel like I haven't let myself break down enough. I feel like I haven't let go of the things that keep upsetting me. Things that are beyond my control. And saying that to another person who's going through a lot, that you're allowed the safe space for both good and bad days. It's like telling another person that, but then not enacting it for myself. It's not so much hypocritical as that I guess maybe some part of me didn't believe that I was allowed that either. Some part of me thought that I had to have a brave face on all the time, even in private. And that's not true. I'm allowed to let go. I'm allowed to feel these things, these uncomfortable things. I get to decide if I'm going to face something head on. And a lot of the times I am facing things head on publicly or in front of my kids because it's expected of me. But when it's just me, I don't think I've actually allowed myself. I think I've just kind of hidden away from it because I thought, why should I? Why should I put myself through this? I'm already going through so much. But I'm allowed that breakdown. I'm allowed those bad days. I don't have to be perfect in everyone's eyes. I'm not perfect. I'm never going to be perfect. But I don't have to be brave all the time. I'm allowed to break down. So that was another moment for me that wasn't like crazy, like, oh my gosh, this is revolutionary what I just felt. It wasn't like that. It was not super extravagant. It was literally just very nonchalant. And I was like, the things I'm telling other people, I'm allowed for myself too. I gotta remember that. So those were some things that I just, recently felt. And I don't know. There are probably other things that I'm working on that I may feel differently about in the future. There are probably other things that, I'm uncomfortable with when it comes to myself that maybe I do want to change. Maybe I just haven't figured that part out. So I don't know. But in the meantime, I'm going to continue doing what I have been doing. And that's just trying to stand up for others and do my best in supporting others in the ways that I can, because I can't literally fight the world. I can't go over and completely stop a war. I'm not in a position to do things like that. I'm not in a position to physically do a lot of stuff. I have a lot of physical disabilities too that prevent me from doing some of the things that I want to do, and also being a single mom with no physical in-person community to help me with stuff. So can't do that part. But I'm going to continue to do what I have been doing, and that's raising awareness and sharing online. And that's supporting small businesses and sharing and supporting mutual aid. I do care about what's happening to people across the globe. I do care about what's occurring. And that there are people who are in worse situations than myself, of course. Excuse me. But I can't do everything. I can't fight everything. I can do what I can, so that's what I'm going to do. So again, you can go and see all the stuff that I say a lot more on Threads. I post a lot of stuff on there. So it's I definitely do not say practically all the things that I would say on here that I do on there. And again, because I said in the beginning, you don't have to follow me. I'm just saying that if you want examples of, you can go see it on my Threads thing. So I really don't care about the following part. It's just, I guess part of me is frustrated because there have been people who kind of gatekeep the whole helping thing. Oh, if you're not doing this, then what are you doing? It's not all of us can do this, and this. There's no such thing as perfect activism. There isn't. There's never going to be, so stop it. But some of us are helping the ways that we can help. So instead of literally wasting your time trying to gatekeep people and shame people for not being able to do the exact same thing that you're able to do, maybe go do that thing. And maybe talk about you going and doing that thing. And if other people can join you, great. But I guess that's kind of the part that I get irritated about. Because I've seen that a lot online, where people are doing this whole activism gatekeeping thing. Oh, you're not doing this, then are you really an activist? Not all of us have that reach. Not all of us have the same platform. I'm doing what I can with what I've got. And I have a pretty small platform. I'm really small compared to a lot of other accounts. But because I do have quite a few followers, I am open about what I support and where my thoughts and feelings are and what I agree with and don't agree with. I'm pretty open and pretty honest and blunt about that. And I post a lot about it. So because I do happen to have some followers here and because I do happen to speak and have content, I'm just putting that out there that I may not discuss all the stuff on this channel that I do on Threads. So I'm there most of the time that I am here. But also there has to be moments where I'm trying to get away from stuff. I need a quick break because have you seen what's going on in the world? Okay. Gestures to everything. So, yeah, it's definitely a lot's going on. So Especially if you're a burnt out millennial like I am, you're kind of like, yeah, I've been through this rodeo before. I didn't want to go through it again. I didn't want anyone to go through it again, but here we are. So yeah, we're gonna take a few little breaks and be like, okay, we'll be back on this, in the next few hours. But for right now, I'm gonna watch this movie. I'm gonna read this book. So yeah, I was watching K-pop Demon Hunters on Netflix earlier as my break. Very good movie, excellent movie. Literally 10 out of 10, like perfection, and the songs perfection. Like it's just mwah, perfection. But yeah, that was me trying to take a moment, and yeah, I cried. Yeah, seriously. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. The emotions. Also, you can tell that it was written, majority of it was written by women who actually know how K-pop fans and girls are. Like, I was very happy to see that. The way that a lot of characters reacted. I was just like, that's how women react. That's how we are. Yes. Yes. I feel like this is a proper representation of women everywhere. And fans too. Like that's literally, thank you. Finally. You can tell I still have some angst about women characters written by men who have no fucking clue what a woman is or how they react. Like this just, sorry, but it's okay. Anyway, that's my end of the video angst. I am happy this ducky is still going strong. I want to see how. Anyway, sorry, ducky. Sorry. I actually broke one of my other squishies. This little stream of like lotion came out. I was like, oh my goodness, okay. It's yeah. It got all over, and I was like, this one's still good for now. Good ducky. I hope it stays for a while. That's the thing too, is that like I need these squishies because they help, especially when I have anxiety. But then I break a lot of them and I feel very sad. I'm just like, no, I need another squishy. I need something that can handle my aggressive squishing, because again, gestures to everything. So it's like, have my faithful ducky for now. Sorry, it's just really such like squishy soft material. Okay, I'll stop. Like this, I have to end this video somehow, so I need. Anyway, there's my introspection, and yeah, I figured I would talk about it honestly, just because I wanted other people to, if you felt similar, then here you go. I mean, again, though, it is from my perspective. That person that I spoke those words to, I really did mean those words, but it's not up to me if they accept those words or if they think those words are helpful. I will continue to check on that person because I actually do care about them. I don't know them personally. Like, I've never met them in real life. I literally just saw them online like a week ago, but I'm already very protective of this person and already do not want anything bad to happen to them. It's kind of, it's the same with a lot of other people in the fandom that we're at. We're just kind of like, you are part of this community. We have adopted you. You are here with us now. You are, this is your home now. Like, we don't want anything bad to happen to you. So like, we're all very invested in this person. We all really do care. So, I mean, I don't know that any of my words have actually helped this person, but I do hope that they are able to see over time that they do have a community that cares about them, that they do have someone that is looking out for them. And they do also have an in-person support system too. So, so that is good. But yeah, it's a pretty big shit show going on with the world right now. So, taking these moments to think about these kind of things is also kind of an escape too, with everything happening. So yeah, gotta go and live life now. It's like dinner time. I mean, my kids have mostly been very independent lately, so I mean, they technically could go and make food for themselves, but they like it when I make stuff. Like, it's that whole, like, yes, I can make it, but mom makes it better kind of thing. So that's earlier, like for lunch, for example, because it's a big production. Like I cook bacon on pans, like I do the whole like tinfoil thing, and like on like actual baking sheets, and like, or like, and I'll put it in the oven. So I'll do like 350, and I'll do like 10 or more minutes. I'll flip them over, maybe another few minutes or whatever. And it's just, we like them on the crispier side, but still, so it's like, I will do this whole production of like baking like the bacon in the oven, and then eggs however they like them. Well, not my oldest. He doesn't seem to like eggs anymore, like scrambled eggs. And that's fine. That's fine. He had like a canned thing or whatever earlier, like some Chef Boyardee along with the bacon, so that's fine. But like, it's this whole thing where they like how I make the bacon. They like how I make the eggs, or any other food. So it was this whole thing earlier where they're like, I could make this stuff for myself. I could microwave this canned good or whatever. That's fine. I know how to make, microwave popcorn. I know how to do this and that. But mom makes this meal better. So we'll go see what they want for dinner. But I've entered that part of my momhood where it's like, yes, I could do this because you taught us how to be more independent and we can make our own food. But I like when you make food. So can you please make it? So I'm at that part now where they like my cooking enough. So I'm like, okay, cool. I mean, I've been told that before. I've been told that people like my cooking, or they really like it when I make soups. Like, I'm really good at making flavorful soups, or really flavorful mashed potatoes and like other stuff. But anyway, so yeah, so I gotta go and see what they want for dinner and see if they like me to cook something, because we've entered that era of my parenthood, is that they want my cooking over whatever they do. So I'm like, okay, yay, they like my cooking, cool. All right. I don't really have a lot of like pep talk things or like hopefully whatever, because gestures to everything. But yeah, I think the one thing that I'd want us to keep is hope, because that's, I think, the thing that we need the most right now. Whether you're someone who is fighting on the front lines of something, or you are in a position where you can't do much, I think the one thing that we can keep and should keep and try to keep is hope, for whatever it is. Just hope. So, all right, bye.